Hello, welcome to my channel. I am the goddess. And today's video. Hello, my love. Welcome back. This gonna be a good one. I mean, I know I got some good live videos, but this gonna be a good one. Okay, so we're gonna clear the energy. So today's live video, I know this gonna resonate with so many people. I don't know if you watched the movie. That just warmed my heart. Come up with a little nickname for you when you come. Ash Z. I don't know why I like to give people nicknames, but it's under your consent. So when I think of one, we're gonna get back to that. But okay, so if you seen it, have you seen Intergalactic on Netflix? If you haven't seen it, I can't remember if it's directed or produced by Kid Cudi, but I know it's a lot of his music in there. Okay, so in the movie Intergalactic, it's about this guy, right? He is off rip. It tells me that he, even though he's an adult, yeah, it's so good. Even though he is an adult, it showed me that when it comes to spirituality, you have to, tap into your inner child. I'm getting chills right now. So that gave me the sun card, right? Tapping into your inner child. Look at how she is like carefree, like just living life, like just not worried about the stress and the things that the world projects on us to be worried and stressed about. She's like living life carefree. So this guy, he was off rip. I knew he was channeling his inner child, right? Because in the beginning, he's sitting on like this billboard ledge, and he hit the blunt a few times, and he like lived in his head, like he was just using his imagination, right? So it was like the galaxy, right? He pictured himself like floating in the galaxy, and it was so dope. Like the matter of fact, it starts with him floating in the galaxy, and then it comes down to where his reality was, and he was really sitting on the ledge of the billboard. So he's like going in this galaxy, and he's like exploring the unknown, right? And so he's like, damn, I wonder what's out there. Like, I wonder, what else is it to life outside of this 3D, world that we living in. And so he was just using his imagination to picture the way the galaxy looked. Now I know, so the thumbnail, which is of the guy and the girl, they're like swirling around in the galaxy. It instantly gave me the lover's card. Instantly. Instantly gave me the lover's card. It could be a spiritual awakening for some, but because my third eye is already open, like somebody told me about the movie. They was like, "Girl, you got to see this movie because it remind me of you, and it's just crazy. Like it's a beautiful movie." I'm talking about the movie is a work of art, right? But when I saw it beyond my eyes. I was using my third, which is how I can pinpoint the sun card, the lovers. Like I saw the symbolism, right? So let me tell you now. So he was after he was floating through the galaxy, he was like he was kind of afraid of exploring the unknown, but he was like open to it, right? So he had an open mind to things, right? So welcome, welcome, welcome. So he came back to his reality, and he was spray painting like some art on the billboard. Well, what he was spray painting was this character that he used his imagination to create. And the character was like this, it was like a black spiritual James Bond. And he had locks and he had a blunt hanging out his mouth. And it was just so different. And it was like a version of him, but it was like the more confident version of him. It was like he created a character, like a rebirth character, right? So, okay. Then um what happened next? So he's like, he has a bicycle that he rides, and it gave me the chariot. Like he was, riding his bicycle everywhere. And so he ended up like getting this big breakthrough where he moved into this nice ass apartment. I'm talking about nice. I'm talking about moving on up on the east side, nice. And so because he had this new job, he had this new apartment, he had the things that he envisioned. Like he envisioned living in this nice home. He envisioned, doing what he loved. So he ended up getting this job at this comic book company, right? And so even though he had a nice ass apartment, even though he had a nice ass job, he had a bicycle. He wasn't focused on everything like material aspect, which is how I knew that with him, tapping into his inner child, with him using his imagination, with him creating the life that he wanted, he was slowly building this solid ass foundation, right? So the moment he started like everything started going good for himself, and then he wore this sweater that it said closure on the sweater, right? Okay, so when everything started going good in his life, y'all tell me why the fuck he ran into his ex. A page of swords asshole, right? So when he ran into her, oh, and then the world card too is like he was creating the world that he wanted to live in. So once he got approved for the apartment and the job, it's like he was no longer in his season of struggling. He was in his season of abundance, right? So the world card, like he was changing his destiny by just using his imagination. So he when shit started going good for you, it's always gonna be shit that try to pull you back, right, to your past. And I already did a video on that. So he ended up running into the chick, right? And so she was like, oh, matter of fact, he was on the bicycle, he was going somewhere, he had just grabbed some food. He grabbed some Chinese food and he grabbed enough for him and his homeboys because they were, where's the card at? Where's the card? Let me show y'all how deep this shit is. They were celebrating. He had two friends, and he was the third person. Even though this is women on the card, y'all change the motherfucking role as they apply. He was celebrating with his friends the fact that he got this new place, right? So he went to go get some Chinese food, right? And so while he on his bicycle, he riding, right? And so his ex, yeah, his name. Let's just say his name was because I forgot his name. Let's just say his name was David or some shit. So while he on his bicycle riding through the city, like just enjoying life, she like, David. And then everything that was magical that he was imagining around him, he came back into reality. And then he damn near ran into something, which was the first red flag. The second red flag was he dropped his food. And then the third red flag was there was a FedEx vehicle that was like right on the side of him. And then so when the vehicle moved, it just had the word X. And that's how they introduced his ex. The shit's so fucking dope. So she like, David. And then he like, where the fuck you come from? Like, I ain't talked to you in over 6 months type shit. So she like, oh, how you been? What what you been up to? And this and this and that. And he like, I've been good, doing me, you know, working on myself, working on, my craft, just, I don't know, stress free, bitch, like not thinking about you. And so she like, oh, well, you should hit me up sometime. And then the image of the character that he created was on the side of the bus. And the character like, no, nigga, no, no. Like, don't go back to that. Like, you just dropped your food. You seen you almost ran into, it was like the moment he ran back into his ex, everything started falling apart, right? Bad shit just started happening. So she like, oh, we should exchange numbers or whatever. And he like, you could tell he was sketchy about the shit about the shit. He was like, I mean, we could, but he was in Hangman. He was like, well, we could, but I mean, you're in my past for a reason. But you know what? I know her, for about 3 years. So because I got history with the bitch, I'm not gonna be an asshole. I'm gonna keep that door open, right? So they exchanged numbers. She was like, maybe we can go get drinks later or some shit. That was the third fucking red flag or fourth one because his character was like, no, no, don't talk to the bitch. The fourth red flag was she tried to open that door up. Oh, let's kick it. Let's go grab some drinks. Bitch, you know that if y'all get drunk, it's gonna be some fucking involved. Anyway, so she like, we'll grab drinks later and all that. And then she ran back over to where her friends was because they was like having lunch somewhere. And like the restaurant was outside. So that's how she seen him. So he ended up going home and he like, damn, that's crazy that I ran into such and such. You know what I'm saying? Like shit started going good and then I fuck around and run into her. But for the fact that he was like, she was a distraction and he was lonely. This him right here in the Hermit. He like he opened up his phone and he looked at her name and then he went to her Instagram and he started scrolling through looking at pictures of her and it started playing on his fucking mind. Like she got the laptop cracked open like let me see what they up to because really I really was doing my own thing in hermit mode, but because I'm doing my own thing in hermit mode and I it's like idle hands. Y'all seen that movie where it's like when you got too much time on your hands you go to getting in shit you ain't got no business getting into. So he was like looking at her Instagram and then her profile picture like did some shape shifting shit where she went from like cheesing like this to her picture started talking to him. She was like, you want to hit me up. You want to, what I'm saying, have these drinks that I told you that we could have earlier today. And so he like, fuck it. Let me go ahead and offer her. So, and he got a fucking cup in his hand. So he like, fuck it, let me go ahead and hit her up and see. And then he was like, is it too soon to have these drinks, to have those drinks that you offer? So she jumped on the bandwagon. She was like, shit, hell yeah, you ain't said nothing. Like, let's have a drink or whatever. So they end up um they end up going out somewhere to a bar and she already had sex energy on her because what in her mind she was like, oh, we linked back up, you know, he when I fuck him, he know he gonna, you remember, you know, what we had when we was like the type of bitch that don't want to let shit go. So she was like, he was like, oh, let me get a whatever drink he ordered. Right. Oh wait, I'm fucking up. Before he goes inside of the bar that he finna go meet his ex in, he ends up running into a woman And this woman, it was like a quick little scene where he was trying to rush in the door to meet his ex because I guess he was late or something. And this empress was walking out with her friend, and she held the door open for him. Neither one of them paid attention to each other in the beginning, so they crossed paths. Didn't even know that they was gonna be fucking around with each other later on in the movie, right? So they crossed paths, and he like, but then he keep going. So the empress, she was like the empress, right? So after they cross paths, doing their own little thing, minding their business, he go inside, he had drinks with his ex, he orders some like something, not too strong so that he could still keep composure and keep control of what's going on in his surroundings. Guess what this bitch do? This bitch like, oh, let me get 6 shots of Henny. Let me get 6 more shots of um rum. Like, she ordering all this hard shit. I said, mm, mm. Temptation is a motherfucker. Temptation is a motherfucker. So now they both fucked up. So they get back to his crib. You already know what the fuck went down. They had sex, right? I'm sorry, they went to her crib. They went to her crib. And then they had sex. So the moment they got through having sex, she instantly got in her feelings. And so her feelings started rushing back from when they used to date. He was more so like, I had a good time, but you know, so the Ace of Wands is when he put that pipe on her, she got in her feelings. So he like, well, I had a good time, but you do realize that we was friends, right? So she like, oh yeah, yeah, but you know, I do still have feelings for you. And so her mama called while he laying in the bed, first thing in the morning. And she like, oh, my mom wants to talk to you. And so he like, your mama want to talk to me. Bitch, I just told you, what the fuck? We friends. Like, why am I talking to your mama? He fell for the okie motherfucking dokie. So he get on the phone. She like, hey, we're gonna call the chick Christy. Christy, she has a christening coming up, and we would love for you to come and support her. Don't you have a suit? And he like, I mean, yeah, I got a suit, but why am I doing all this family oriented ass shit with my ex? Like, we ain't even on that level, right? So it's already giving mixed signals, right? So he was like, all right, I'm gonna talk to you later. So he handed the phone back to her, and she like, now in my mind, I'm like, what adult get christened? You supposed to do that when you a child. It's already some motherfucking deceit going on. But anyway, so she ended up walking off, and then he was like, hey, I ain't trying to be the bearer of bad news, but I can't be doing all that with you. So she like, oh well, it's okay, you don't have to come, trying to play on his motherfucking psyche. And so he like, nah, I ain't trying to, what I'm saying, hurt your feelings, but you know I I I can't do all that shit with you. Like, you not my old lady, I'm not your man. We just ran into each other today. You feel me? Like, but I did have fun. You know how I get when the liquor in the system? And she like, ha ha, that's not funny. So I'm like, okay, bitch, okay. So he ended up leaving. So he go back to his crib. His boys there waiting on him. They like, okay, well, what happened? How was your night and all this kind of shit. He like, man, I ran into such and such. They like, such and such, Christy. Then he like, yeah, and then they like, oh, so you back on that? And he like, nah, it was just like it just happened, vibrating on a low motherfucking frequency. So now it goes back to they um so as they eating the Chinese food that he supposed to brought them and shit, they like, one friend like, man, fuck that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Bros over hoes. We supposed to hang out and do this shit for the rest of our life. We could put stripper poles right here. We could put a titty bar right there. How you gonna tell this man what to do with his shit and he just moved in the fucking apartment? Grimy ass friends, selfish ass motherfuckers. And it just goes to show that people don't realize how selfish they are until, oh, yeah, people don't realize how selfish they are because they feel like, oh, I'm your friend, so I can do whatever I want to do with your shit. We're celebrating you moving in your apartment together. Meanwhile, I got ideas on how I want you to live in your fucking apartment. Then the other friend, like, man, you can listen to him and have big booty bitches swinging from the ceiling, but really, we could turn this bitch out into a grow house. Let's turn this bitch out into a grow house. We'll have plenty of money. Fuck them hoes. We'll get the hoes later. Let's get this money. Again, is this your motherfucking apartment? Did you work for this shit? Do you pay the rent here? And it just reminds you that, you know, when you trying to start a new journey in life, your friends will hold you back. I don't give a fuck how long you've been friends with them. I don't give a fuck what y'all went through. You got to understand the bigger picture. You can't you got to really see, you got to use your third eye when it comes to your discernment of the people that you have around you, because your friends and your family, they have the most access to us, so they be the main ones to disappoint us. Meanwhile, a stranger can walk into your fucking life and then change your life for the good, and then you be like, damn, a stranger helped me, a stranger put me on my path. Yes, because it's pure. It's a pure love that a stranger can have for you, but because your family know you as your family, they feel like they have authority over you, and they'll misguide you. They'll lead you in the wrong direction. They'll watch you suffer. They'll watch you struggle. They want you to tell all your business to them. Then they don't have no fucking solution, right? So he ended up going to sleep because, oh wait, so him and his friends, they end up partying all night. Mind you, he had to be to work the next fucking day. The same fucking friends that he's celebrating with in his apartment, they like, oh yeah, let's let's party, let's get drunk, let's fucking do drugs, let's, you know, fuck bitches, let's just have fun, right? So they go to the party, and every it's like on every scene, the his friends is trying to, like, if he wanted to leave early, they're like, oh, you a bitch. We supposed to be hanging out. We boys. Knowing this man gotta go to work next day. So he like, I ain't no bitch now. I ain't no hoe. So I'm gonna chill, I'm gonna hang out with y'all boys. You feel me? So they hanging out, and then they like, let's take a picture. Let's do it for the gram. So they taking a picture. Everybody got a cup in their hand. As soon as he hold his cup up to take the picture, the friend is pouring more liquor in his fucking cup. Every time he like, oh, let's let's go do some of this, let's go do some of that. They like, man, take these drugs, man. Get fucked up. Yeah, that's how we do. So he like, after a while, and then so he went on this balcony, right? And he was looking out at the moon card, right? He like, and these women, it's like when you indulge in low vibrational things, right? So in the drugs, the drinking, all that, the moon shining bright as fuck, right? So his friend come up to him and he float up to him because everybody high and fucked up, high as a kite. His friend float up to him and he like, you good, bro? You good? You know how when you drunk, it's almost like you can't hear as good as you thought you could, so you talking loud and yelling. So he like, you good, bro? You good? He like, what? What? He like, are you good? He like, yeah, I'm good. So they like, oh, okay. But see, the devil started fucking with his head. It's like he started seeing shit that he wasn't normally seeing. All these psychedelic drugs just put him in this state to where he was fucked up. And it's like it opened the door for more shit to keep happening because he didn't have control of his surroundings, of his environment. He was being vulnerable, right? So then he got to work, and he his head was down on the table because he had a hangover. He was so fucked up. His homeboy started calling him, right? And so he opened his eyes and he answered the phone. He like, yeah, bro, what's up? He like, damn, bro. He was like, damn, bro, you look like shit. And I'm like, Well, damn, you the same nigga who kept pouring liquor in his cup. You the same motherfucker who kept feeding him drugs. Of course he gonna look like shit when that's not his everyday lifestyle. So his friend, like, you look like shit. He butt ass naked getting a massage by this big hairy masseuse, like a dude. And he to my bro, I'm gonna pull some strings for you, and I'm gonna get you back right. Jorge right here he gonna massage you out. He gonna get the kinks out. He might tug on your dick, but you gonna be good. I'm like, what the fuck going on? So he ended up going home, working on his craft some more, and then that night, like, his neighbor ended up having a house party, which kept him up again. So he ended up going to the chick house, right? He ain't know it was a chick. He knocking on the door like, hey, who responsible for this party? Everybody having a good time. People, kissing, drinking, doing all kind of shit that people do at parties. And so he like, who party is this? Who live here? So this dude come up to him. He like, hey, this is a private party, bro. You gotta leave. And he like, nah, I just need to talk to whoever live here because I gotta go to work in the morning. I can't sleep. So this chick ended up standing up because she heard the conversation that was going on. She walked over to him, and when he laid eyes on her, he seen shooting stars projecting from behind her. She had long locks. She had a nose ring. She had a beautiful smile. She was just like this sexy ass female. So he looking at her like the star. He like a deer in the headlights, like, God damn, this bitch bad. Who the fuck is this? And it was his neighbor, right? So he looked at her like this magical ass female who just was just fully confident and sexy, and she had her own style going on and all of that. And she was the queen of pentacles because if she his neighbor and he live in a luxury apartment, she live in a luxury apartment. I got coin, you got coin. What's up? Big bank, tank, little bank. Like, what we got? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? So they both live by themselves. Exactly. His heart I know his heart dropped to the bottom of his motherfucking ass because he in his pajamas while they got this whole party going on. And so he like, oh, my bad. Um, nah, y'all keep partying. Do y'all thing. It's cool. It's cool. Do your thing. He wasn't trying to seem like no lame or whatever, but really he knew that, bitch, I want this motherfucking party to end. Right? So they end up she like, oh, because so the next so she like, thank you for, being a neighbor, and not tripping, not complaining. So he like, yeah, it's all good, no problem. So he go home, go back to sleep. The next day, she go knock on his door, and she's like, because he wasn't an asshole, because he let me have my party, which she was trying to promote, her art and stuff, because she's an artist. She was promoting her art or whatever. He's a comic book artist. So they got something in common. Regardless if it's art, whatever it is, that it was telling me that these two people, when they like came together, they realized once they started learning things about each other that they had a lot of shit in common, right? So she was like, let me take you to lunch for you, doing what you did last night. And so he like, all right, cool. Just want your ass to know I'm ordering two of everything on that ass because, bitch, I lost a lot of sleep, right? So she take him to her favorite restaurant, and he fall in love with the spot. And it's a vegan joint, right? Burgers, fries, all that, but it's vegan food. So I'm like, not her introducing him to something new and he fell in love with it. So then they start like slowly catching feelings, right? And so one thing led to another, and they started like hanging out, like doing stuff. But they was trying to take it slow, but like feelings started developing. They was like, what are these feelings that I'm getting? It's like butterflies and this. And this. They know that they never felt that before with nobody else, and they felt it with each other. It was the universe bringing them together, because mind you, the universe is at the beginning of the movie. So he manifested her in a sense because he didn't know what she would look like or whatever, but he had to pray for her. He like, I want this perfect world where I have somebody that match my energy. I want to be in this beautiful home. I want to do all this stuff. I want to have a female version of me. Like, he didn't know how powerful his prayer, his manifestation was when he was tapping in to his inner child, using his inner child, abilities to manifest the things that he want. So after they like started getting close, which is, the Two of Cups, they started like getting close. Like they was having sex, like they was doing all type of shit to where it was like he had to leave the ex behind, but he ended up leaving something at his ex house, which was the closure. Hold on for a second. Looking food in the bar. Okay, bitch, I'm gonna burn my goddamn food. Okay, so they like start getting close. She started talking to her friend, like, girl, what should I do? Should I, you know, the friend like, bitch, you better you better get on that ass. He's an emperor. Like he got, y'all got a lot in common. Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Go for it. Like, what's the problem? What's T? So um when he so his ex ended up hitting him up, right? And then she was like, oh, there's a rat in my apartment, right? And so he like, a rat. She like, yeah. So he come over there. It was a rat in the apartment. Now I felt like the rat was symbolic for like malicious intentions, right? So he was trying to get the rat out of her apartment for her, and they end up both screaming, running out, and he left his jacket, right? Why the fuck did he do that? Why the fuck did he do that? Because that's when the fuck he had a tower moment. He left that motherfucking jacket. So she like, oh, he left his jacket. I know he's not gonna let me keep it. So let me what she did was she put it on and she kind of like posed sexy in it, and then she took a picture of it and sent it to him. But he's spending time with old girl, right? Because they not sure if they want to be a thing yet, but they like trying to become a thing slowly for surely. So she sent it. She like, oh, you left your sweater at my house. It fits perfect. So while they laid up in bed, because they having like passionate sex, him and old girl, they having like passionate ass sex. I'm talking about explosive, right? While they laid up in bed, she was like sleep on him, and then she ended up waking up, and The phone lit up. They put their phone by each other on the nightstand, and she thought she grabbed her phone because it was ringing. It was like 1, 2 in the morning, and it was old girl on his phone. So when she looked at the text message and seen the shit, she like, damn, like, is this nigga really playing me like this? Like I thought we had something going on, like, and here it is, he fucking with a whole nother bitch. Even though it wasn't, and that's like the two of swords. Even though it wasn't what the chick made it seem, yeah, they had just had sex not even a month ago, time frame, and then now he done ran into this chick that he like falling in love with, and they had like a miscommunication, right? So what comes in is he ended up having to close that door with her. He had to close the door with her because it was only going to like put the chick who he cared about in this state of nine of swords, right? So he put the other chick in the five of cups, and he like, listen, we gotta cut ties. We can't be friends. Everything is not fine. I don't like the way that this headed, and I got somebody who I care about, who I'm trying to take serious, and you just did that one little thing, and now I gotta work hard to get this motherfucker back. So, and then that's the Knight of Swords, him coming with communication to close that door, right? So the Knight of Swords with the Nine of Swords is the Ten of Swords. He had to close that chapter, and his life was like a comic book chapter. Like, it's so dope. Y'all got to see the shit. And so after he closed that door, then the word closure popped up on the screen, and he got his damn hoodie back. That was his closure, closing that door with her. And so he ended up gaining the strength to come forward to rekindle the Two of Cups, but with the Queen, with the Empress. But you got to get your motherfucking, the scales got to balance. So when the Justice card, that's like, okay, yeah, you did what you did, yeah, you was slipping, yeah, you fucked up, but at the same time, you know, you have to allow the scales to balance before you can come back in, because you had options. You was choosing, doing all this low vibrational shit, and you basically fucked the world up that you was creating, and now you got the Eight of Cups, start back over and build your shit back up, and leave behind what no fucking deserve, what no longer serves you, so that you can have the Ten of Cups with this chick. So he put the X in the Five of Pentacles. That gave her Three of Swords, heartbreak, and he wanted to come forward to the person that he's seen the future with, right? So she like, you know what? Silent treatment, hermit mode. I'm just gonna work on my business and do what I need to do for me, because I ain't got time for this stupid ass shit, right? But I'm going to. She was like, the pictures that she was taking of him, she put him in her art show. So while she working towards, building her foundation with the Hierophant card, the ancestors was pulling them back together because he cleared that chapter. She started focusing on herself, which, even though they was doing their own thing, it still brought them back, because what's meant to be is what's meant to be, right? And so with the Hierophant, it's like Spirit brought them back together, and his comic book character, like, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. You work hard for this motherfucker, because this is who's gonna be in your future. Like, and I'm just like, and then even with the I had said something about my son had this dream that he had teleported into this computer room. I mean, this camera room where it's like a security system where it's a bunch of cameras that tell me why in the movie it was like the devil was on his back trying to, you know, get him to be in fear. It was trying to plant the seed of worry and fear in him so that he would get distracted. Tell me why he, like, it was a scene where he jumped through this window on his bicycle, and it was a room full of fucking computers and goddamn cameras. I said, because his coworker gave him a plant. It was a Japanese worry plant, and he put that in his job. So that tells me that somebody was deterring him from living his full destiny type shit, and the synchrophuckinicity and that dream. That's why I say my son had dreams that come to pass. It's in a futuristic type shit because I watched that movie yesterday. My son had that dream a couple days ago, and then it was like a devil. It was a demon, like fucking with his conscience, but it was his character, but it had turned on him. Y'all gotta watch that fucking movie. It is so good. The art, the how they tie everything in together. It was lit. It was lit. Yeah. So that is the message for today. The message for today is follow your dreams. If you're new into spirituality, tap into your inner child to use your imagination to create the world that you want, and never let anything take you off your path, because what's meant for you is meant for you. Whatever you put out to the universe, it's going to come back to you. If you tell the universe you want certain things, allow divine timing for the universe to bring you those things. But when the universe bring these things to you, make sure you're always ready for the opportunity instead of being unprepared. You know what I'm saying? So that you don't have to get ready for the opportunity. You always prepare for the opportunity. So when it comes, you can just receive the blessing. Whew. And then y'all tell me what y'all think about it too. If y'all, oh, and then 111 was on the cab when the new beginning happened with the chick. She jumped into a cab that said 1101. I said, God damn it, synchronicity come through. Synchronicity come through. And that's the message for today. Until next time.